Everyone is talking about the loneliness epidemic. Millions of people feel alone, even while surrounded by messages, notifications, and constant conversations. But then there are people like you. You didn't become lonely by accident. You chose to cut people off. And strangely, instead of feeling empty, you felt peace. Before all this, you were the person who was always available, the one who listened to everyone's problems, the one people called whenever something went wrong in their lives. You tried to be supportive, understanding, patient, but slowly you started noticing something strange. Then one day, a small moment happens. You see a message, your phone lights up, but this time, you don't reply immediately, and nothing terrible happens. Actually, the silence feels strangely calm, and that's the moment you realize something surprising. Maybe distance doesn't create chaos. Maybe distance creates peace. Psychology actually explains this. According to Polyvagal Theory, when someone feels emotionally overwhelmed for a long time, the nervous system shifts into a different mode. Your brain stops trying to fix every relationship. Instead, it chooses withdrawal. Not because you hate people, but because your body is trying to protect its energy. And sometimes this pattern doesn't start in adulthood. It starts much earlier. In childhood, if the environment was emotionally unpredictable, arguments, criticism, or feeling ignored, the brain learns an important lesson. Distance equals safety. So later in life, cutting people off doesn't feel strange. It feels familiar. And when someone in adulthood starts getting too close, your brain quietly activates that same old protection pattern. You slowly begin to pull back, reply less, share less. Not because you don't care, but because a part of you has learned that distance feels safer than disappointment. But there's an important difference that many people misunderstand. Walls and boundaries are not the same thing. Walls block everyone. No one can get close. But boundaries are different. Boundaries don't reject people. They simply filter who actually deserves access to your energy. And once you understand this difference, everything starts to change. There's a simple way to understand it. When you cut someone off, ask yourself one question. Do you feel lonely or do you feel relief? If the feeling is relief, your brain might not be isolating you. It might be protecting you. People who start creating distance also develop something else. Strong pattern recognition. You begin noticing things faster. Who only calls when they need something? Who disappears when you need support? Who drains your energy without giving anything back? You become very good at seeing patterns. And once you can see those patterns clearly, it becomes almost impossible to pretend everything is fine. From the outside, people might call this isolation. They might say you've become antisocial, distant, or cold. But what they don't see is the inner shift. You're not withdrawing from life. You're choosing peace over constant emotional noise. And sometimes that choice looks like solitude. For some people, solitude slowly becomes something else. Not emptiness, a sanctuary. A quiet space where there's no pressure to constantly explain yourself, no emotional chaos to manage, no expectations pulling you in 10 different directions. And in that silence, something rare happens. Your mind can finally breathe, and it can think clearly again. So if you started protecting your space, it doesn't mean you've become cold. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes cutting people off simply means you stopped abandoning yourself just to keep others comfortable. And that isn't cruelty. That's self-respect. Interestingly, one of the longest studies ever conducted on happiness, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, found something surprising. Happiness doesn't come from having more people in your life. It comes from having the right people. Just a few relationships that are real, supportive, and emotionally safe. So cutting many people off doesn't always mean your world is getting smaller. Sometimes it simply means your circle is becoming clearer. So if you've started cutting people off, maybe it's not because you hate people. Maybe it's because you finally realized your peace is worth protecting. And the truth is, being surrounded by the wrong people can feel far more lonely than being alone. So tell me, does cutting people off give you relief or actual peace? If this resonates with you, share your experience in the comments. You might find many others who feel the same. And for more interesting psychology insights like this, subscribe.